We've seen some games where Fatal Bonds doesn't do anything. We've seen, once you have BKB and Manta, you just purge it off as well. So you don't even get value on it sometimes. Same could be said for Upheaval. It doesn't pierce through BKB, but it lasts a heck of a long time if you get your position right. I don't know. It's just everyone underestimates good Upheaval plays. It's probably the most impact Warlock has. Like 100% high ground siege. Warlock with 8 relents, maybe even a Keen Optic or a Psychic Headband if you're lucky. Standing a mile away with Upheaval, you can't stop that unless you have very strong jump. And then you just can't even commit for a high ground siege. So it's just this really powerful spell that I think people underestimate because it's not flashy. It's kind of boring. Warlock just stands there. He's just waving around like this, right? He's just doing this. And it's like, yeah, whatever.
I'll tell you what, John. Next time we see a great Upheaval play, I'm going to hype the crap out of it just for you. Because I know you get excited. I'm going to hype the crap out of it. All that slow coming out. I can't wait to see it as AG. They go for the Void Spirit, pick up third up here. Fair enough. Nice way of catching out the Marcy, or more importantly, the Phoenix. Trying to snipe this support hero before they can get that Egg Arena combo off here on Atlantis' end of things. They do need another support potentially here, AG. I feel like with the Dawnbreaker, we've been seeing more position 3 Dawnbreaker as of late, so let's see what they do go for. Or maybe they do go for the Pos 4 Dawnbreaker, but they won't. They'll go for the Grimstroke instead. And you know what, John? Dawnbreaker plus Grimstroke, pretty strong combination to have.
You have mobility on hand and lane. You can jump forward. Good stunts to follow through. I love the response from Atlantis, though, into the Ember Spirit, because you don't have the best hold from AG to kind of lock in the Ember. Phantom's Embrace is probably your best silence option to keep the Ember in place. After that, you're going to have to commit maybe to Golem, maybe if you get lucky with Starbreaker, somehow landing onto him without him avoiding. It can get a bit dicey once the Ember at least has one protection item. So we'll see how much or how well AG can control the Ember. Of course, Void Spirit versus Ember matchup here, Mike. We've seen that multiple times. Tends to go fairly even with a slight edge for Ember Spirit. I think that still holds true in this patch. You still can go Sleight of Fist and harass the Void Spirit a lot better. Mitigate some of his magical damage with your own Flame Shield and Flame Guard, and Void Spirit can't really do much about that. So it's a little bit poke and prod. Void Spirit does have some play potential if he lands a Remnant, but overall, Ember's just happy farming there.
Yeah. Certainly so, as we are going to wait out these final bans to come here from both these sides before we get to continue. Pos 1's missing on both teams right now. Jonathan, any predictions? Is there any particular position 1s you'd like to see for either team?
Jug looks really good for AG just because there's a Mars, and you have the Grimstroke combo, you have the Warlock lane once more, so a Jug could be good. You do want some hard scaling course. I do love that they ban out the Faces Void here from AG's end, preventing the Egg Phoenix combination from coming through. But the Jug sticks out. Maybe you go for... The Pudge isn't great. I'll be fair here. The Pos 1 Pudge doesn't look amazing, but it does give you a good aggressive lane combination with Warlock to play with. Again, whether or not you could chains fairly nicely in the creep wave with Rot, you can threaten with the slows with Upheaval, you can sustain your Pudge with Shadow Word as well. So could maybe, if you are going left field for AG, core Pudge for DB once more. The Jug does sound like a safer bet. Even more bog standard DB heroes like, say, Wraith King doesn't look too bad up against this kind of lineup. It's still a nice scaling core. Can farm up because the rest of your team is fairly active. So that could come true as well for DB, one of his favorite heroes. I think the Jug sticks out as probably the best option because Atlantis, they ban out the Lifesteal and then they ban the Ursa, leaving that Jug counterplay in.
Final pickup is here, John. 13 seconds reserve time left to have a think about this one for AG. They're going to go into the Morphling, surprisingly enough, and this is not a hero I was quite expecting to fly out. Interestingly, they go down the Morph route as well, John. Like, you're against the Phoenix, which is not very fun to have to play against as the Morphling. You've got some Spirit Vessel carriers as well. I guess on the bright side, you're forcing the Ember to go down the Spirit Vessel route more than likely here against the Morph. But what do you think about it? Do you like the pick? Do you think it's strong? I guess with the Warlock lane, it's kind of strong because you can Agimorph and then just Shadow Word and get heaps of value out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great sustain lane to play up against. I don't know if it's the best. I guess...
Hold on, John.
Turning...
What if you buy Ags, you morph into Warlock, double Upheaval, John? Not even Fatal Bonds. Just I know that's what you want. You want 2 upheavals instead of 1 of them.
That would be fun. Unfortunately, I don't think it's worth the cost. And
No.
the Ags was changed, so you can't turn into your allies anymore, right? Like that
Oh.
was changed out. It's that
Okay.
weird strength, agi, and int kind of scaling off from morphing. So unfortunately,
Morbing.
you can't. You keep morbing. Yes, the most morbing hero here. Morbling himself. And the Spectre does come out for Atlantis, so there's their stable win condition. Honestly, if you were going to go for a slower game with just sustaining in lane with Warlock, Spectre would probably be a better pairing instead of the Morphling. Just very standard lane, keep farming up and build up. So a rather interesting draft. A big breakaway from that last series we had, Mike. Overall, it's kind of hard to say who I like better here. I would maybe lean towards Atlantis. I feel like the Spectre is kind of set up for success here. You have a great team to fight around the Spectre and just buy her space to farm up. AG, the Morphling with the changes to all his interactions just kind of feels awkward. And you did mention the potential for Spirit Vessel. I don't think Wonder Boy has to go for it necessarily. Ponyo could try farming it up on the Phoenix anyway. So you have multiple heroes that can carry it out and still have an impact on DB.
Okay, we'll see how it does pan out. Of course, game number 1 here between Army Geniuses and Atlantis. John, do you have a preferred draft before we start this game 1?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Atlantis. I just think that this lineup's a bit easier to pull off with your Arena Egg combination. You can just stall out for the Spectre. You have great aggression coming out early. For some reason, on my end, I've heard the Versus screen twice. That's very nice for me.
Yeah.
But we do get into game. And yeah, I think this is a pretty strong Spectre game. There's a lot of scaling Mangaros can do. And you do have your own sustain lane with a Spectre, with a Phoenix, although you don't tend to go for the Sunray early. My big issue with AG is their team fights hinging on like a good chaotic offering into Solar Guardian, which is not the easiest sort of setup for a good Solar Guardian, or vice versa. There, fairly long cooldowns as well. In comparison to what Atlantis has, they don't have much to wait for. So Atlantis can just play a very aggressive 4 protect 1, keep stalling out for Spectre. You could rush a good Ags timing, start to rip up heroes like the Warlock who will not enjoy playing against that Spectre, and just feed off of it.
What weird Ags this Morphling has now. See, I wouldn't know about it, John, because I don't play Morphling, because, I like to win games. So TB, I'm sure he knows a lot more about the Ags than I do. Mango Rose, by the way, John, I like to point out great names. I love this Mango Rose name. I think it just really rolls off the tongue quite nicely. Isn't it a nice name? It's pleasant to say, isn't it? Mango Rose?
It makes me think of food, but it's like, I don't think I've eaten rose. I've had a rose drink. I forgot what it's called in Singapore, but I don't think that combination goes well, but it is a good name. I'll agree with you. It just gives me weird images of food that don't really line up, Mike. So hopefully his play lines up better than the food combo.
So you guys don't use much rose in the Philippines then? Because like in my culture, we use what's called a lot of rose water. You should have known
better. No, rose water is very different, isn't it?
I suppose it is. I'm just, had rose in it, John. It's made out of roses, I believe. You guys use rose water?
I thought it was just the name. I don't think we have rose water too much in our food, unfortunately. But what we do have is a lane with Mango Rose anyway.
Wow.
So we will observe Mango Rose up top, of course, on that spec with his Phoenix Ponyo up against Wami and Narman under Grimstroke and Dawnbreaker. And as you mentioned, this can be a really aggressive lane with Dawnbreaker. You have Inkspell combos, you have easy gap close with the Celestial Hammer, you have good ways of pressuring. You're going to have to wait a few levels to get that done, but once you do hit level 2, level 3, that's when the aggression can come in. And Ponyo, yeah, you can play Sustain Phoenix. You could be aggressive with Spirits and dive. Not much to really cancel that dive unless you can time your Starbreaker or your Inkswell somewhat, right? But it does feel like the more passive phase of this lane will favor Atlantis because Mango Rose just wants to farm anyway.
Celestial Hammer out from Wami. He'll land on Ponyo the first time around, but won't get the second hit. Have a look at the other lanes as well, though. Mid lane, of course, we've got the classic brother versus brother matchup. Azura against Wonder Boy here in the Void Spirit versus Ember. For now, favoring Azura, though Wonder Boy is going to start to get a little bit aggressive here on the Ember. Same guard activated as well. John, is there anything in particular we have to keep an eye out on in this mid lane?
Whether or not Azura can land his Remnant combination is the key thing to apply pressure onto Wonder Boy. The Resonant Pulse isn't really going to do too much to Wonder Boy as long as he has his Flame Guard up. Rune Control is the key thing here. So So either side will want to top up on those runes. Feel like the Void Spirit has a little bit more play with Assimilate and the cutting off of Ithrim. You don't tend to see value point from chains, so Azure should still be able to contest runes a little bit faster. Let's see if the supports make those rotations, and we haven't seen that in a while. The 4-minute, 6-minute rotation, so probably just gonna be left alone until at least the first actual power rune.
Of course, that final lane down a pot. DB and Barish going to be against WS. Of course, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Ahyad? Ahyad?
Ahyad, yeah. I think.
Ahyad, right.
Yes, yes.
We'll talk about the bottom lane, John.
It's a stable lane. Yeah, it's Morphling Warlock. You heal your Morphling. You get chains off for some slight harassment, and you're kind of happy. There's not too much to Marshmallow though.
Nice to be back.
Combination off.
Strength Morph was there though. DB very, very quick on the fingers, seeing Ahyad make the jump in, and DB gonna have to back his way out. This is the part I was talking about though, John. Like, it does feel like you get a little bit more value now out of the Shadow Word with all the Agimorphing you can do. Especially once you hit that level 3 mark and you have the level 2 Shadow Word up. It does feel like DB should be sustained very well in this bot lane.
Yeah, should still just find his farm. Varish, 4 mangoes in his inventory with a Basilius to come out. He knows what he's doing here, Mike. Yeah. He knows. He's just sitting back, healing, and watching his core farm and not really doing anything beyond that. This is the actual boring Warlock that Parker mentioned yesterday. This is the actual boring lane. Like, there are fun lanes for Warlock. This is a super boring one.
These are your favorite kind of lanes though, right, John? You love the boring Warlock lanes.
I actually don't. It's so boring. Like, I like it on Dire because you can stack top jungle. On Radiant side, it's hellish. You just pull and heal, and you don't get to walk and stack. You don't really help mid. That's something that Atlantis can use against him. I mean, we've seen some activity from Ahyad, again, just going in for the dispose, looking for the spear. It is still a bit of a rougher time for WS. You know, it's a melee up against range. You have the advantage as DB, and they're not really able to gap close all too well. They see this as stand, they're like, this is kind of pointless, and just kind of go farming, maybe contest water runes. Ahyad will ensure that he grabs the other one away from Azura.
Nice first blood being drawn, top lane. Mango Rose able to take it as well, tips her out. Narman actually started the fight back against Mango Rose when he was 1 hit away from dying, and even I was kind of surprised about that. It felt like he had a chance to walk out of there, but well, Mango, he will take the kill, and it's a very nice one for him. First blood to the Spectre.
Yeah, and you're getting that strong start already for Atlantis. Again, the Spectre not going to be bullied out here, no kill threat onto him, and as long as Spectre farms, Ag's buildup will be hellish. What is a Grimstroke or even a Warlock going to do against that? They're just food for the Spectre whenever they show up under a ward. I think that's something to be heavily concerned about for AG on the top lane. They do get the opportunity for Narman to come in, fill up Azura's bottle, but even that doesn't really happen. So Azura is still kind of stuck with no full regen on hand. Just great control from Atlantis. They know what has to happen on mid. They know what has to happen in the side lanes. And they play it according to plan. Sure, DB still finds farm. The Spectre with a quick axe is still scary. And
nice spear. Well, W is really setting up there onto DB with the spear out, and he could not react fast enough with the strength morph to survive through that. Very nice kills coming out here from Atlantis so far. And, well, AG, not the greatest start here for their side of things.
And the Morphling was farming well, dies, and not a great sign for them. Down mid, some aggression onto Wonderboy here, though.
He's not dead yet. Azura not going to be able to finish the kill off. In fact, now he's in a bit of danger, but he'll back his way out just in the nick of time. Very, very scary there for the Void Spirit, as down a bot lane. WS kind of getting chased down here by DB, but fine on the Mars. Top lane, Wami now to spot a danger in the Dawnbreaker, but he is also going to be able to walk out of the Sunray. Now they're trying their absolute best at top lane to slow down Mango Rose, but the Spectre is still having a very free game.
Yeah, it's hard to contest, and I think the one big difference we're seeing from both of these teams, Mike, is there's much more presence from Ahyad. He's showing mid, he's contesting water runes. You aren't getting that same movement out from Narman, or I don't think you really expect it from Varish anyway, but this is leading to a stronger start for Wonderboy. You still have the CS advantage on Azura, but he's forced to buy much more regen. Wonderboy can be very happy with that. Already at that Orb of Corrosion, so his right click starting to amp up. And again, the side lanes, sure, you leave WS alone. He's not dying any longer on that Mars. Is forced to walk back, but double bracer ensures his security. Top lane's a lot rougher for AG, and it all spells a pretty strong start for Atlantis. AG does feel like we're at the point where we have to wait for something level 6s to start to pop out. Once that teamfight threat is up, that could be where things turn around.
AG trying to get their own farm up here on DB. Azura doing a very good job at the mid lane as well, really overtaking the Ember now.
Mango.
Wonderboy falling a little bit behind though. Oh, the top lane. Mango Rose, he might eventually fall, but he gets a double kill before that. Nam and Awami both dropping with a great rotation out from Ahiad, and well, now Varish is going to rotate over along with Azura, trying to catch out at least Ponyo, but he's alright. Azura, last Astral Step charge, should be enough in the end. One more click will do it, and he will get it with the Assimilate. Meanwhile though, down at bot lane, I believe they've lost some Morphling. WS, able to pick him off solo.
They know that Varish isn't there to provide a heal. Even then, again, it's so reliant on Morphling to get that sprint shift out. Find the opening, get the build up, and get some punishment. They don't lose much up top. Azura is still looking to be aggressive.
Yeah, in trouble, gonna drop. Azura able to pick him off with the Inkswell combination as now Mango Rose top lane. Dropping quite low himself from the Spectre, but he's gonna be able to survive through it. No problem here for the Spectre. Tango's being handed out here by Ponyo, but Celestial Hammer is in from Wami. Gonna be enough to finish off the kill, though. Stroke of Fate. Almost on the mark there onto the Spectre, but not quite enough yet, and I mean a 3 to 5 here. Still a slight net worth lead to go the way of Atlantis, and Mango Rose on the Spectre right at the top of the board.
Doing a great job, just holding his top lane, forcing a lot of aggression out, freeing out the other lanes to get aggressive for WS. And the Spectre is still on track for a really good Ags time. And that Ags is terrifying. Warlock is going to be free food. Narman might be a little bit more challenging, but it still allows setup to kind of join your Ember very often in these fights. And for AG, the levels aren't pouring in fast enough. We're about to hit level 6 on Wami. Still a ways off here for Varish. And maybe once you get that combination going, you can start to play around with your Void Spirit. Azura only has the one null. Is enough to kind of sustain his mana. Looking for angles up top once more.
It's there. Celestial Hammer out with the Q. He does manage to get the kill. Mango Rose. Fine to TP his way out. Where's he headed though? Yeah, just back to the mid lane. Just wants to stay in the jungle for now. That is going to mean that AG do start the tier 1 top tower push, and it's going to be a rather easy tower to take eventually. Not really much in the way of defense coming out from Atlantis, and I suppose with the way the Spectre's been farming, you don't really mind anyway. You're more than happy with the way the top lane's gone. Even Wami now TPing down mid to make sure that T1 remains protected. But the rest of Atlantis, they're going to smoke up. Try to go towards the top lane. And in fact, the top T1 has not gone down yet. So maybe they could force a fight. But it is only 2 supports here trying to make that happen.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And in fact, AG, they back off anyway.
They get a good read. They saw the Ember kind of zip across the river and walk towards top, so they back off in the nick of time and smoke up themselves.
Well, they've got that Solar Guardian up, but Wonderboy will break most of the smoke. Azura is still smoked up though on the Void Spirit. Oh, he's going to find Mango Rose all by himself. Solar Guardian is immediate as well. No hesitation. Great play out from Azura. He was the only one that did not have his smoke broken by the Ember and just goes right in after the Spectre.
Yeah, get the big kill they need, slowing down that Spectre just a tad bit. Allowing DB to still stay number 1 despite a couple of deaths in this lane. Morphling is still having a greater time with a simpler build-up and more stats to play with in clearing out the camps. Atlantis, game is evened out now, 5 to 5, less than 1k lead still standing for Atlantis, but the push will begin in earnest up top. They do have the threat of the Golem still ready to go on Varish, but the presence of Wonderboy does hold him back just a tad.
Azura. Looking for a target, not going to find one yet. Wonderboy is showing up top, but he's an Ember. He should be able to get himself out, no issues here. rest of Atlantis still very, very patient, just trying to defend this top tier 1 tower. AG, they are going to rotate more heroes up, though. You're going to see DB joining the fray now on the Morphling. Wonder Boy chained down onto the Grimstroke, but counter chains there from DB. So the Morphling does reveal his position. Just wanting to get Wonder Boy right out of here, and like he does, Wonder Boy being forced to get out. Eventually, that top tier 1 will drop. Only geniuses, they will get it. And it does seem like they also intend on defending this bot lane, as WS needs to back off right now. Celestial Hammer is going to land. The Respira waste being slow is not going to connect. Barish, he does have the Golem if he wants to try and drop it. Arena, though, is down. He might need to commit right now as the Sunray is coming through with the Horn down from the Spectre. They are committing to the fight as the Golem finally comes down. Too late, though.
Yeah, just a bit too late. Didn't find the angle in. Azura not going in as well, and that didn't leave them with too many options to take that fight. Great taunt coming through from Mangaros to ensure that he's there for the cleanup. And that should allow them to maybe look for some chip down bot. Azura still being tagged here by Ponyo. Off to chase. Egg is still at the ready, but doesn't have his team to back him up. So just play tag a bit. And the one issue for Atlantis here, Mike, is that their tower push isn't particularly fast. I mean, it's not quick for the side of AG either, but at least you have the Morphling with his right click. So if he does show up, the damage can come through. For Atlantis' case, it's a more prolonged process. So even with that win, you're still going to have to try to shove in bot, try to look to equalize that map, and you are clumping yourself around the Spectre, sharing farm that one lane, whereas right now DB's free top. He knows there's no threat on him, he's just farming up.
Barish in big trouble here down the bot side. He's going to get taken down, though Wommy is going to make his way over, but Egg is going to be committed, and now Wommy, he's in big danger. Spear away onto a tree, back into the X-Stun, and of course, is going to drop. Ponyo barely getting the egg off in time, and poor old Wommy gonna suffer for it.
Yeah, get some great punishment off from the side of Atlantis. Again, they find a support. Killing off Wommy's pretty darn big, but I worry about how much space you're giving DB. They should know he's up top. He's showing up towards that tier 2 tower, finding farm in the creep wave. He's taking control of that triangle. And it seems they're more than satisfied to allow DB to just farm into whatever he wants as long as Mangaros kind of keeps pace. Equalize that tower down bot, go for a smoke play. Adrian's already up for Ahyad, so here we go with a dispose range, Mike.
Yeah, this is when things get really stupid. Yeah, see what he can get done. Nate down, Arena down, Speed is there, but Solar Guardian gonna protect us. AF trying to move in, is a bit late to the party, but still could help out as the dispose is there, but now the Soulbind is gonna connect as Ponyo and Ahia both down. Wonder Boy trying to one his way out, but DB is right behind him. In fact, Stroke of Fate is gonna connect the Ember, in big trouble and is gone. They just rushed them. DB, he is quite powerful right now, the Morphling. Even with just the right clicks. Atlantis, they'll find out the hard way.
Great punishment out from AG this time. Didn't even have their Golem drop to follow through. Just a good Solar Grudgeon to sustain on Azure was enough to stall out and get everyone into that mid to get punishment. They find a mid tier 1. They get even more map control on AG's end with a mid and top gone, allowing even more farm to flow in through the top jungle. For DB, if they want to, full Manta already up for him, onto the Scotty next. So just going for the usual right-click morph, going for the stats build-up. Mangaros, still 2 parts away from the full ag, so a little bit more time necessary. The side of Plant is still going though.
Jump in. What will be there to try and help out? Dispose actually going to do him a bit of a favor, but he jumped right back in, and now the Golem drop. Oh, that's a great Golem drop out from our Warlock, Farish, setting up for a fantastic team fight. WS does go down along with the Marcy, and now Wommy, he wants a bit more. Wonder Boy, as Remnants, should be fine to back himself out of there, but Wommy is still chasing him down. So is DB, right behind him. That's going to be enough though. They won't be able to find the Ember, but they still found a double, and once again, AG finding the better end of all these trades.
Yeah, make it work. They just get a good opportunity to drop, and they save Azura once more. The sustain game starting to kick in here to the side of Army Genius. And for Atlantis, they are buying space out for the Spectre, taking attention away from the Spectre while it's still vulnerable. Hot is ready for Mangaros, and that looks like the full Ags flying out for Mangaros here as well. So the Shadow Step is ready. you can start to look for those softer supports and just feed off them now, if Atlantis gets the vision out.
Lane, Zura, trying to be a little bit cheeky here against Wonderboy. Jump in, hit the Remnant, not on the mark to get the X-Wall though, still the speed. And Arena once again going to save the day. Even the Horde to come in with the Solar Guardian. Was out from Wami. Azura though dropping way too low. Wami still trying to go with the Starbreaker. It's not going to be enough, however. 5 heroes in the mid lane from Atlantis this time around do win out the team fight. Solar Guardian, it bought enough time for Azura, but he just could not find a way to exit this fight.
And DB had no interest in coming in for that fight as well, opting to just keep that farm game up top, keep that top lane shoved in, potentially threatening that tier 2 down the line. They do need a damage output of that morph. Whenever DB's not there, it just doesn't feel like they've got enough to rip through the side of Atlantis. Side of Atlantis, more than happy. They did use the full haunt, but Shadow Step again is at the ready here for Mangarose, so you're never quite safe on the side of Army Geniuses as long as they've got vision over you. We'll see if Atlantis wants to play around that.
Good lane. Jump in. They've got the Marcy hold down. Sunray will not be able to help from Ponyo. Oh, even Narman right behind this Phoenix as we speak, but gonna try and make any kind of jump in. You still have DB basically free farming the morph, so as long as he's doing exactly that, I suppose the stress from AG isn't too high. Even if he gets the Spectre, he's only got an Ags up anyway. It's not too big of a deal. It's Ponyo. Backs himself out, but mid lane, they've got the Ember once again. Do they have the damage in time? Oh yeah, they do. Wonderboy going down once again on that mid Ember. There's just terrible news here for Atlantis.
And we talked about the shortcomings of the Ember here. Until that BKB is up, he's not the slipperiest with a Phantom's Embrace. Narman's just been able to find a good position to constantly get that Embrace off before he can avoid it. They are starting to rack up the kills. 12k lead standing for Army Geniuses, 12 to 11 right now. As DB has just been left uncontested, 10k net worth now on Morph, going for his own BKB. And once he has his own BKB, it does feel rather tough for the side of Atlantis. Their only BKB pierces Supernova Stun, which is not going to go off if the Morphling is on top of you anyway. So we'll see what they can do about DB. No Spirit Vessel buildup as well. Not even a Phoenix being able to kind of queue that up yet. And that is just leading to probably a much more easy game for DB than I think any of us expected here. Clear out the top tier 2, opening up the outpost, opening up Roshan. And Atlantis haven't really made a movement on the map, at least in terms of objectives here, Mike. Not since that bot tier 1. Top, mid tier 1 still stands, no other movements out. They will go for a smoke play here, though.
Yeah, they'll try now. What are they going to find, though? Closest target is Wami. If they want to head down south, and it seems like they just may. They look very lost, though, Atlantis. Power Rune, they are going to get lucky with that, at least. Double damage to be picked up, surely. We'll just save it for somebody else, though, as they're going to see Azura in the mid lane. Get the D-Ward off anyway, and well, they're going to head down bot to maybe pick off Wami on the Dawnbreaker. Wami, he's going to back off at the right time. Though no, he's going north. They'll think better of it. He does walk the other way. By the tier 2 tower, Wami's going to be okay. Sensing something was wrong. Atlantis, once again, John, they're just unable to find a pickup that they really want. And that just allows AG to just keep the farm going. BKB's up on DB now.
Just fully farmed up. 11k net worth smoke out from AG this time. Not putting DB in it, but he is ready to join in. Golem at the ready. Solar Guardian here as well. Could be a rough fight for Atlantis if you're not ready.
Right by Ponyo straight away. He'll try to jump away with the Icarus Knife, but the Ink Scroll gonna land with the Dissimulate. Plenty of damage as now WS has been found out, but Wami does not get the Celestial Hammer in time. So at least they get the Mars away, and they won't lose too much more than the Phoenix, but it's another kill to go the way of AG, and it seems like they're gonna try and force Roshan out of this.
You've got the damage with DB. Shouldn't be too long for him to get that done. You do have counterfight here from Atlantis. Haunt at the ready. Arena at the ready. It does feel like they haven't utilized the Shadow Step all too much for Mangarose. I think that's where the opportunities are slipping away from that Spectre. The timing's good. You do want to hunt those supports. They're just not getting that opportunity. AG playing very well. Managing to hide themselves from any forward vision. Not much vision right now from Atlantis, and Roshan is basically free. Aegis going the way of DB. More pressure coming out of the spot.
Oh, nice thing swell. The dispo is not going to be enough. They've got Ahead once again.
Buset sakit banget. Buset sakit banget kayak gitu.
No idea what that voice line means, but I'd love to learn.
I'm sure Wami would be happy to enlighten us in the lobby later on. Very positive.
Yep.
We'll find out sooner rather than later. Like, still side of Atlantis kind of clumping around. And they've got Haunt, they've got Shadow Step, and they just haven't been able to use it.
Bin, DB, nice chains out. He's caught the Phoenix Ponyo, but Ponyo, he does have egg to throw out if necessary. WS now, the actual target here on the Mars is chains, wasn't available, so Azura has the Ink Swell, but no step charges.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
They do still
attack.
force rotations out from Atlantis. But they kind of, again, just... It seems like they're putting all their trust in the Spectre basket. Hoping that eventually Mango Rose will be too much of an issue to deal with, but... Spectre's not really the way it used to be. So I don't think you can necessarily say that Spectre just outscales Morph these days.
In an Ultra Farm scenario, it can. It is a bit harder to do. You do rely on Snowball and Smoke, though.
DB right in, but Smoke is broken. They find nothing. Atlantis again just running. Maybe Ponyo. Ain't the Remnant's gonna land. Ponyo obviously not gonna bother throwing the egg out. It'll be completely wasted anyway. They'll take a Phoenix kill once again, but it's not really what AG want. They want something a little bit bigger than
Radiant
that.
structures
Problem is Atlantis, they're not fighting. They're just not interested in trying to fight into an Aegis. So Azura not gonna be able to catch him. Wonder Boy will trying to run. Nice chains out though, and the Soulbind is there now. Onto 2. They've got the Ember, they've got the Golem to lock him down a bit longer. Wonder Boy, he's gone.
Buset sakit banget.
Perfect play here from
Buset,
AG,
sakit
and
banget kayak ditabrak truk.
that should be the mid-tier 2 tower.
And they've got the Golem to help with a push. They've got damage coming through from DB as well. Atlantis just playing very, very passive. We saw some aggression earlier on with WS and he jumps in with a blink.
Dire's
But
middle tower
I'm just not seeing the value in the Ags anymore from Mangroves. If you don't actually use that Shadow Step and find kills to snowball in the Spectre, you're not building up your own lead. You know, you're not snowballing with a hero. That's when we see Spectre succeed with his Ags build. Just going for the ultra aggressive playstyle. And AG make use of that farm time a lot better. DB inching towards that Scotty now on our Morphling. Azura onto his own BKB, which is almost done. They find
late.
Wami at least.
Yeah, Wobby gets caught out there. Mango Rose able to take himself another kill here on the Spectre. AG, I mean, they do have to be certainly careful about giving kills away like that. It's free kills towards the Spectre. I mean, like you said, in an ultra late game scenario, it could be problematic as, well, they've got the Marcy at least. Though DB goes the wrong way with the rebound out and gets tipped here by the Warlock, and yeah, he's out of it. Whoopsie. Now mid lane. Well, they've got the Ember once again. Wonder Boy already going to drop us down. Narman under siege is going to get taken down on Azura. Well, he's going to back his way out, but AG, they get the Ember, but they give the Grimstroke away to Azura. He's going to try, but a nice spear out. WS holding down Azura. The Spectre trying to get the job done, but not quite yet. Azura is going to be fine. In fact, the sidekick even handed over to try and give him that crazy life steal. Give him a reset, and that it does.
A little bit of a back and forth. Great Shadow Step from Mangroves earlier on to help get that Wami kill. Kind of bounce back in that Spectre. Still a ways off though in comparison to DB's build up. The Scotty's almost on a little.
Nice spear. They've got the Aegis up already. WS getting a very nice spear, and keep in mind the Morphing's doing all this by himself as DB is forced to waveform back out. But that was basically DB against the world for that high ground attempt. Nobody else was really around to help him.
He still gets punished for it. Without the Aegis, the full commitment is not going to be coming out from the side of Army Geniuses. But Scotty's up. You don't mind too much here for DB. Aegis was kind of running its course sooner rather than later. Side of Atlantis, I mean, we see them really shine in those pickoffs if they do manage to find Wami while he's trying to farm up and try to join the fight with Solar Guardian. Spectre acts as a really good foil on that, so they can easily collapse onto that one hero, remove that aspect, remove that part of the fight with Solar Guardian and just kind of try to force it back. But it does feel really tough to hold DB back. You know, he's with a BKB with a Manta, unless you get another spear, as we've seen from WS, the Morphling is just gonna be nigh unstoppable in the center. And it just goes back to no Spirit Vessel once more. Not like you'd have a lot of impact at the moment now with the BKB and the Manta, but you don't have a way of mitigating the healing or the attribute shift, and no way to stop Varish from just constantly spamming out the Shadow Word. He did go for the +2 second Shadow Word duration. It's just almost 100 uptime.
Quick blink out from WS. Barely avoiding the Astral Step of Azura. DB and Azura still hanging around here as maybe top lane. Mango Rose is around, but we'll leave the illusions to do it. Scan is there. They know he's around. Mango. Oh, this could be a bad TP play. That's his TP down. Tips out already, but do they actually have the damage for this guy? He will haunt up, trying to get his way out that way as Narman is going to go down immediately. Solar Guardian not going to be enough, but Mango Rose is still in huge trouble. His team cannot make it in time. So you get the Narman kill. Yeah, you get the Grimstroke kill, but who cares?
You get the Spectre, much bigger trade for the side of Army Geniuses. Great heads-up play from Narman to walk into that spot, knowing that he's being shooted around, and he gets some good punishment. Slowing down the Spectre further, 3k behind DB at the moment. DB just going straight for the Butterfly, so gonna have a lot of agi to play with here. Just so much right-click damage. And you even have that BKB already up for Azura, so much more protected up front. You have a lot of heroes that you can't pin down any longer on Atlantis. Although,
mid lane, they've caught the Warlock. Varish drops the Golem before he does go down. In fact, he gets the upheaval up as well. He's still surviving the Glimmer Cave. Bought him enough time as he finally goes down. Egg is gonna drop. So is Ahyad. And AG,
Sakit banget kayak ditabrak truk.
they'll just keep going now.
yeah, I mean, that's all the big teamfight spells from Atlantis being popped outside of the haunt. No Arena Egg combination for the high ground hold. DB has a lot of room to just hit away. And there's not much counterplay coming out from Atlantis, unless, again, lots of pressure on WS to maybe look for that angle for a spear. Without the Arena, it feels pretty tough to get the follow.
That it does, John. It certainly does. He's standing his ground. Very confident here on the Morphling right now as they do get the tier 3. Immediate waveform out. WS making the jump in. Wami just hesitating to back off there and will get punished for it. Maybe just not on the same page as the rest of the team as Wami. And handing a free kill over there on the Dawnbreaker. And now Atlantis, they do get a scan out on AG. They know exactly where they are right now. They are going to smoke up and try to force a fight. They've got Haunt up. It's a 4v5. Wami can buy back, but he'd rather not. Wonder Boy, his smoke broken. Sidekick was handed over, but they are not going to make the jump in.
Don't have a good angle. Still no egg follow through for the Arena. Haunt is ready here from Mango Rose, so he can just work any part of the map.
Now, Varish is going to get found out, or at least find a +5. He's going to go. It's Narman now. He's up. It's all Ponyo, but really the kind of fight they want to take yet. Maybe the tier 1 mid tower to drop here for Atlantis, so they do at least get something for their trouble.
Nice tower take, opening up the bot jungle a little bit more for their access, and maybe cutting off the angles for Roshan from AG's end. Rosh going to be up in 15 seconds here, Mike. Could be a big one as you do not quite have the golem up on Varish, so an opportunity for Atlantis to play with that egg, to play with the Arena, to play with a haunt, a full haunt from Mango Rose. AG though, they don't seem to mind. They're still getting the huge build-up they want on DB. The Butterfly is still set to come. And they just need perhaps just a pick-off to breach into that high ground, take care of the mid-racks, or just go for the Roshan, which is already up.
They do so. AG now grouped up as 5 once again. Atlantis. Just waiting for the Aghanim Scepter to come out on Wonder Boy. That hand that crazy mobility over to the Ember. Roshan, however, is going to start it. And it's not going to take very long with this DB morph. They've got to try and get in here quick, Atlantis, but they're not really grouped up right now. And it doesn't really seem like they're fully aware that it's happening. The second Roshan is going to go the way of Army Geniuses basically for free. And it doesn't really feel like this is something they should have been able to take for free like that, but that's exactly what they'll do. Of course, there's going to be an immediate smoke out now trying to punish Atlantis. Catch them out with their pants down. Oh, you've gotten to the point where there's a satanic coming out of this morph now.
Opts for that instead, realizing that the sustained game is very nice here with nothing to stop it from our Morphlings, and instead of opting for the Butterfly. Full Scotty is up on our Spec, so some more presence out from Mango Rose. But outside of those single target pickoffs, it just doesn't feel like we've really seen the impact of that Spectre, as DB has been in almost every single fight when he's not farming. Atlantis need to find a way to mitigate this. Perhaps just start to play high ground. They are looking for the wraparound from the river here, though.
Speedy rune of haste.
Atlantis are going to try and move in bot lane. This is being pushed in, rather one tier 2 tower, but they're doing nothing with the arena. Wami already gone. Golem has been dropped for Ish. He's going to drop as well. A great start here for Atlantis. Now the egg is down. AG trying to back out of there, but the egg is under siege right now. They might just take it out, and they do so as DB. He wants to keep fighting. So does Azura. WS is already down. Onto the Marcy they go, but they've got to Astral Step out of there as they do get the Marcy. But Azura is going to get caught. It's DB versus everyone else. A 2v1 scenario. He does have a few units though, at least. It's DB. Gonna morph into the Spectre. Chase down Mango Rose. Has found it. DB though can't finish the job yet. He still has the Aegis up, however. But that's gonna be about it for the team fight. It's gonna be a win for Atlantis. But they cannot deal with this Morphling.
They certainly can't. They get a lot of gold out of it, but I don't think DB minds too much because he's just getting all of the gold on his side now as well. Could probably just look for that last slot item. Could go back for the Butterfly if he so wishes. Atlantis, and that was a good angle to take. Narman didn't quite see them coming in from the south side, not having vision there, and that did allow them to just instantly take care of Wami, remove the Solar Guardian, which can stall out the fight quite nicely, and just play on top with the arena, play on top with the egg. And the egg doesn't quite last long, but it did buy them the time to start to clean up the back line, and so they were forced to focus on it, especially DB. Still, 8k lead stands here for Army Geniuses. Mike, they're still having a great time despite that latest setback. Azura still working onto his Ag's timing here on the Ember, on the face of Void Spirit, 2 parts away. A Wonder Boy on the Ember Spirit. I was gonna say Storm. I don't know what's up with
Storm.
Now, with the Kaya coming out.
He's
yeah, I
gone,
was like, why did... In my head, I was like, it's Ember. I was gonna say Storm. I don't know why. The Kaya's
gone,
up.
John.
So
Never coming back.
Yeah. Well, you know, nulls, haha. So, with the Kaya up, does a little bit more damage. Interesting, though.
Armin has actually found the Phoenix. Solar Guardian comes in, Wami gets it done. I mean, he has buyback at least, but that's a bit of a free kill there set up by Narman.
And feels like that's the second time we've seen it. Him just stalking the tree line, knowing the hero is kind of playing tag. And just gets the Inkswell and summons a hero onto him, and they clean up. Nice freebie kill. Egg is going to be there on the buyback, not the biggest deal in the world. And no opportunity for the high ground as they do manage to creep cut very nicely with Wonder Boy on the mid. So they're not able to just apply that pressure onto the open racks. DB's looking for a bit of a flank here, though.
Spear's not going to land. Morphling's still going, still chasing down WS, but for a TP play out, and should be just fine to make it. Little TP away as Mango Rose will do the exact same thing. Atlantis still doing a decent job of holding on to this game, number 1. DB still does have the Aegis for another 50 seconds though, so there is a potential chance that AG could try to force a big push onto the high ground if they really want to. But considering the Aegis is going to expire in 40 now, it's probably not going to be worth it. They may as well just finish off their items first.
Yep, just keep building up. I would really like to see new Morphling Ags here. Just, I don't know, just to see how much you really get from the stat resist steal or the attack speed steal. I don't think we'll see it, unfortunately, Mike. Maybe we get it from Roshan. You know how these cores are, right? They'll take the Ags away for themselves. Let's just go for that Roshan time. Let's go.
I wouldn't mind seeing it. Sadly, I think they'd give it to Azura this game, John, but I wouldn't mind seeing the Morph Ags, even though it doesn't look that great. Ponyo, not looking great either here, John. With the Solar Guardian, Wami, we'll say thank you very much. That Narman's the one to take it. Meanwhile, DB ends up dropping. And now they're on to Varish. Chains out from Wonderboy, that'll lock him down, and eventually Mango Rose will be able to find another kill here on the Spectre. And I don't believe either of us saw how DB just died.
No, I have no clue. He got caught off guard. He was fully agied up. And he just bought out Swell, so no buyback opportunity. Nice opening for Atlantis, although...
US. BKB up, Arena down, he'll find Azura being caught, and now the Horde is there. Double Arena, in fact. Now really locking down the Void Spirit, and Azura's gone. Wami has to TP out of there. They'll chase down for more now. Narman in trouble. Eventually will be chased down by Wonderboy, and does get taken out. What has happened to this game, number one?
I think AG were probably just thinking the same. You know, they were very confident. Suddenly DB dies, and then they just chain feed off the back of it. Atlantis find a huge opening, using that Shadow Step well. Mango Rose, despite being behind in comparison to Morph, it's still a Spectre with 3.9k HP, but a lot of damage to give out as she takes damage as well. And allows them to just push onto mid. Roshan still a minute and a half before we see that timer. They could try for the high ground. Respawns are fairly short now, though, so probably just find more off the map. Take care of that tier 1 up top. And for Army Geniuses, we talked about this with the last Aegis they took, but they didn't really manage to commit onto the high ground. They need to be able to find that angle to take these bigger objectives to really hammer in this game, because it's still a Spectre game. You are still dragging this game out. Your Morphling is really big and does have at least a break mechanic on hand with Silver Edge, but you can't afford to run this risk. Spectre is starting to work the Shadow Steps, starting to use the Haunts very effectively, and I think Atlantis have realized and recognized that they do have really good jump. If they just find one hero, the same thing that Wami's doing with a Solar Guardian, Spectre can do a lot faster with Shadow Step.
Now, AG, they're still ahead in terms of net worth, but they were ahead a lot further than they are now, and well, suddenly that win probability starts heading back the way of Atlantis, who still have a very good shot in this game. That's 33% according to Dota Plus right now for Atlantis as AG. Are going to group up and go for a big smoke out. They might just find Ponyo. It's not really a big pick off here into the Phoenix, but it seems that they'll just suffice for it if they can get it. It's been caught. Chance is there, and Ponyo eventually will drop to DB. It's not a really big kill though. And now, Shadow Step out, Narman in trouble, Solar Guardian gonna try and help. It's just illusions anyway. So they almost get rid of Narman. Just not quite, but here comes on US. He makes the jump in. There goes the Grimstroke running out another golem. It's gonna be dropped down. Wami. Oh, they got DB. The Morphling is down without buyback until they try to fight. The Mars hands off as well as Varish does go down, and now Wami's gone as well. DB. He got caught in the arena. Azura now in danger as well. Gonna keep trying to run out of this one, but the chains are out. Hold him down. Azura. What egg drops? Well, Narman, he does drop now. Well, they don't get Azura. I believe DB, he got caught by that spear in the arena.
Got caught out. And fortunately, fully strength once more. The damage is there from Atlantis' end. Roche is up here as well. Big openings up for Atlantis. That is the free. It's the free Ags too, Mikey. I guess we're not going to see it from AG unless this drags on towards the next Roche. But Atlantis not going to be. They're not keen on seeing that. They don't need to see the Morphling Ags, Mike. They just want that win. With a secondary life on Matt Rose. I'm finding it hard to see the angles to get the kill.
Azura does make the jump in. I don't know if he got anything, and oh, it might cost him his life. And it will. Wonderboy able to take the kill onto the Void Spirit. No buyback on him either. Did he even get anything?
No, he didn't. He dropped down 2 items on his inventory just to keep it open, but no, didn't manage to grab anything. And
Wonderful.
Atlantis, well, no.
He's got 2 Aghanim Scepters, John. On the board.
Ah, he's got the blessing and the scepter. Now, you can. Is there actually a picture difference? Because that's gonna be a trick question, you know, when you're
Radiant's
playing.
top tower
When the
is
battle
under
pass comes
attack.
out and it's trivia, it's like, what item is this? Then it's just
Where is
2
it?
pictures of Ags. Did he pass it on yet?
Well, it's not in his inventory now. Where's it gone?
Huh. Did he send it home on the courier?
Radiant's top tower is falling.
Am I blind? Oh no, he ate it.
Oh yeah, there you go. This is the one I was talking about last time as well, where I was like, you know, you could probably eat it and sell your Ags, and he actually does it. The madman. I want to see the Ags on Morrison.
Very funny.
We could have had it, Mike. We could have had it.
Yeah, but let's not, John. Why? What does it even do again? Unleash cooldown by 10 seconds. All of
Yeah,
whatever.
it's like it is whatever. But you know, it would be funny, especially as you approach level 25. Pulse of silence for 1.5 seconds every time you cast a spell. Sounds kind of nice, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so, John. It's never gonna happen. Don't get your hopes up. DB. Big pick off here if they find it. DB, does he have buyback? Oh, he's a bit short here, John. USC knows he's around here somewhere, but the scan. Not gonna find the Morphling, and they will reveal themselves in the end. DB. Counting his lucky stars, he did not get caught there. So they can head down bot here, Atlantis, and well, this tier 2 tower, it could be taken out very easily by them. But now, though, they'll just take the outpost, and it seems like they're not in any real kind of rush to try and go high ground. They understand they've got an advantage now, and well, you are approaching that ultra late game you talked about, John, and like you mentioned, it's Spectre. It's going to be a big problem.
Yeah, I mean, again, you have angles here for Arm Geniuses to deal with. They've got the Silver Edge hit to break the Spectre, so a lot of that presence does disappear. It's just that DB's not able to work that angle. Side of Atlantis just shoving in down bot. Just cutting the creep wave. They know they can't take damage when the man goes around. Are going to find the last outer objective of Arm Geniuses.
Radiant's bottom
So
tower
it's going to start to feel like they're getting choked in here. Maybe getting a little bit of cabin fever out from AG. They are still dipping out pretty far with DB though. Again, working into his butterfly next. So providing some evasion and a lot more damage. You know, maybe it is time to consider something like the Axe. Maybe it can be good, Mike. You know, some stat resist to steal from a strength hero, turn into Phoenix, and just stay as Morphling. That could be nice.
It's kind of like, look at this, John. He's just dead. Solar Guardian not even to save him. Oh, but they've got the Spectre locked in the face right now. Wommy! He's gonna get the Starbreaker, and now the Golems have been dropped. Have they gone a bit too far here? They've lost the Aegis. Arena's down. That should protect the secondary life.
Upheaval.
Yeah, it's a slow process for Atlantis to get out, as Mango Rose will be okay, but instead they'll make the jump in on the Ember. There goes Wonder Boy. Out with the Horde. Atlantis, what have you done? Mango Rose still being chased down. DB right behind. Oh, and the Inkswell lands the perfect time. Chains out. DB not going to get what he wanted. Mango Rose is going to be fine to TP out of there. There's 2 heroes down with that buyback all of a sudden on the side of Atlantis, Jonathan. That's a bit of a problem.
That is a massive problem, Mike. They overextend the high ground push. Great punishment out from AG. They find a good angle. Use the Solar Guardian. Great golem drop from Varish. And they make it work. DB comes in, gets the damage off. No protection of Aegis any longer for Mango Rose. They still have the cheese to pass onto Mango Rose at least. But now AG can go for a high ground push. They know there's no egg on the respawn. They know there's no arena for a little bit longer. They do not have the Golem or Solar Guardian, but probably needs less of them. Just want DB to stand forward, do the damage he needs to do, and start to even out this game a bit.
Oh, there goes the mid-racks. They should be able to find a lot more than that here, I think. Maybe one more Ratchet to go. Top lane they go. And if you're Atlantis, you're kicking yourself right now. I mean, it's a rough way to go, be 2 Raxes down, just diving tier 4 towers. DB, he'll take care of the top racks now. And I mean, I just don't understand. I just don't get what they were trying to do.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Yeah, it's just really far in. Maybe wanted to kill off Narman desperately to get that fat TV.
He's alright. He'll wait for him away. Has 2 charges. Maybe not. There is a remnant forward, but ain't the remnant. Does catch up the Emperor's now DB. Maybe that's not a problem. Solar Guardian doesn't approve. Spear out. Mango Rose somehow going right through it. As DB still in trouble. Does wait for him away, but now the jump back in WS. He's the one being targeted. Azura right all over it as Wami. Now in trouble. Mango chasing him down, but DB, he does find the Marcy. As Wami, he just keeps going. He's just so tanky right now. The Starbreaker comes in. They've gone too far once again. Atlantis, no!
Okay.
Oh boy. Wami gets a tip. Wami did a great job that team fight. AG, they just go right for Megas or Tier 4s. There's still 2 heroes without buyback.
It's big heroes as well. They need the Ember to really disrupt these fights.
Mortin, Narman, again being targeted. They'll take him down. AG, they're actually going to back out of this. Fair enough. It is a 4v3. They don't want to risk it. They've got the net worth lead back their way. I suppose that's going to make them happy enough. And well, now for both teams, it's going to be all about that Roshan.
Oh yes, and maybe we get the Morphling act. So I'm keen to see that. If it does come through, I mean, likelihood is you just pass it on to Norman or Wami. Let's be fair here, Mike. I don't think it's a top priority, but it would be funny. It would be, as Neff would say, it would be very fun, right? Like that's Neff's favorite line right now.
Would it be very
reason.
fun?
Just...
I guess if he has the Ags up, John, he'd be Morbid. For real this time. He'd actually be Morbid.
No. To truly morb, one needs a Lycanags, Mike.
Right.
One must need a Lycanags to truly morb. Unfortunately, that is also very dead. I guess it's as successful as Morbius was in the cinemas, Mike.
Don't insult Lycan like that, John. Jesus Christ. It's not very nice at all. You know what you're trying to say, John, I think, is bring Necrobook back. I think that's what you're implying.
No.
Why not?
Morbs don't read, Mike, because we don't read. We don't need books. We just morb. Okay, this guy's made of what? It's just unadulterated morbing. Alright? Would you like a Zyga?
Don't bring that crap up, John. I don't want to see any more of that crap in the Twitch shop. WS, he's got a sight device up now, John, on this Mars.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, you know, more control. Chain stun on DB seems to be key here, but I want you to take a look at Wami. Look at that spice he has. AC, Daedalus, along with a Penta Edge Sword. My god. This Dawnbreaker is...
I'm wondering, John, is that just the new norm now on Dawnbreaker? Like, because we've seen offlane Dawnbreakers, I think it was yesterday, they went BKB Deso. I know that BKB is very important, but is that just the kind of the norm now? Like, you maybe go to defensive item like BKB plus an AC, and then you build like Deso or Daedalus and just go damage?
I feel so, because the Ags is great, but as a core, you kind of want to be this big, beefy hero that uses these items well in the middle. Smoke play out from Army Geniuses. See if they can catch Atlantis off guard. They are holding a good spot in the high ground now.
Jump in. Who they got? WS is the target. DB. He has his fingers broken by the sight device of WS, so he's fine for now. Jump back in. Ayan. He does get disposed of onto the Morphling. He did not morph. He's not morbid, John. Here we go. Remnants forward for Ish. In a spot of danger now as the sight device does come out from the Ember to boot. Another dispose out from Ayan. They'll buy back with the Morphling, though they want the fight as the Golem is going to drop. Wami's back in. Look at the damage! Oh, 2 Starbreaker charges, John, with the Daedalus up. It's just so much damage output. He basically deleted them on his own. I don't think they even needed the Morph buyback.
No, he does way too much. it's kind of ridiculous just how big Wami's damage output is, and how he heals through it as well with that luminosity healing through. Great holdout. Atlantis still in a good spot, but those were 2 heroes with no buyback right now, and their high ground still exposed.
Golem's there as well to help out. Nice soulbind immediately out with the double side device into the 8th of Remnant. Lock them down, take them out. The Ember still being healed up as now the Abyssal Blade is there by our Spectre. They've gone too far. Azura is going to drop, but Ponyo does as well. Meanwhile, DB taking down the T4 towers. They're going to try and get in there. 3v4. Azura is down at least. The BKB has been popped. Mango does get a bash off, but DB just wants the Ancient right in. Onto the Ancient he goes. Double waveform charges. He does not want the fight, and he'll get the GG call. Eventually out from Atlantis. As Army Geniuses, I mean, it was a scary game for them, John, but they do manage to pull off game number 1.
Yeah, it was back and forth. We saw some shining moments for Atlantis. They managed to catch DB out multiple times, where he gets chain stunned and doesn't manage to morb. And he's just sitting duck. You have to morb if you're the morbling right now. And you don't have the HP to just sustain true. Props to AG though. They play really well. You saw them going on the hunt. Narman finding that Spectre a couple times. For it feels like Atlantis just missed out on his early aggression with the Ags timing. Like, it did come out eventually towards the end of the game there, maybe 10 minutes before the game end. We did start to see a lot of those shadow steps line up, pressure on the supports, and force out Solar Guardian uses, force out a response from the other cores to kind of prevent Narman from dying. And that did give them opportunities, but just not enough. For a long time, DB was in the lead. He just kept building up. The Spectre couldn't catch up. And it all boiled down to whether or not you could catch DB. If every time he isn't caught out and you're focusing on the backline, you're going to have an issue handling that morph. And AG, back and forth here, I think they were favored coming in. Atlantis, again, having a rougher time in the tour. And they do show us that Atlantis does have fight in them, Mike. So we'll see what happens in that game too.
Yeah, I just don't... It was that one team fight, right? In the Radiant base, they just dived T4 towers, and after that, it just all started to fall apart here for Atlantis. I mean, the game was basically in the bag there, Jonathan. We'll go to a short break, and right after that break, we'll be back with Game 2's draft between AG and Atlantis. We'll see you then.